Avataraha, incarnation. Te, your. Bhuvaha, of the material world. Dhara, burden. Jihirshaya, for removing. Swana, of the friends. Cha ananya bhavana, and of the exclusive devotees. Anudhyanaya, for remembering repeatedly. Cha, and. Asakrat, fully satisfied. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Thus you descend as an incarnation to remove the burden of the world and to benefit your friends, especially those who are exclusive devotees and are constantly wrapped in meditation upon you. Translation with repetition. Thus you descend as an incarnation to remove the burden of the world and to benefit your friends, especially those who are your exclusive devotees and are constantly wrapped in meditation upon you. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. It appears that the Lord is partial to his devotees. Everyone is related with the Lord. He is equal to everyone, and yet he is more inclined to his own men and devotees. The Lord is everyone's father. No one can be his father, and yet no one can be his son. His devotees are his kinsmen, and his devotees are his relations. This is his transcendental pastime. It has nothing to do with the mundane ideas of relations, fatherhood, or anything like that. As mentioned above, the Lord is above the modes of material nature, and thus there is nothing mundane about his kinsmen and relations in devotional service. Since the wonderful transcendental Bhaktivedanta purport, Umagyanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So this is in continuation with the prayers offered by Arjuna. This is the third verse, and there is one more prayer that he will offer, and then the Lord will start speaking. Just to refresh our memory, this is in connection where Aswathama has released this Brahmastra, and the glare and the heat of Brahmastra was so much that Arjuna is fearful. And when Arjuna is fearful, he is taking shelter of Krishna and he is asking for protection. Very beautiful verses, all these verses which we are seeing. Very special verses. 22nd one was Krishna Krishna Mahavaho Bhaktanam Abhayankara Omeko Dahyamananam Apavargusi Samshrita. Till here, 25th one, where we are seeing, he's saying something very interesting. Tathayam Chavataraste Bhuvo Bhara Jihirshaya Swanam Chananya Bhavana Anudhyanaya Chasakrat. Interestingly, when Aswathama released the Brahmastra, he didn't have the knowledge of withdrawing it. He just released it, but he didn't know how to withdraw. And Arjuna, who is a pure devotee of the Lord, is also experiencing something called fear, which is a natural symptom of anybody who has accepted body in this material world. We are fearful of so many things, like what will happen to me, what if I become old, or what if I die, I lose my job, what if my kinsmen who are depending upon me don't like me. So many such fears we have. So what is the solution? What is it that we can do in this existence that we didn't select, but we are put into this kind of a situation? What can be learned? This is a very beautiful verse which Arjuna is speaking here. He's telling Tathayam chavataraste bhuvo bhara jihirshaya swanam cha ananya bhavanam anudhyanaya chasakra. So in this verse, if you see, there is a word which is used called tatha. Tatha is thus, or at that time. Thus is what Prabhupada is saying. Tathayam chavataraste bhuvo bhara jihirshaya. Jihirshaya is to remove. Bhuvo is the planet Earth. And bhara is the burden. So the Lord is descending, as per Arjuna. He takes various incarnations to reduce the burden of Mother Earth. Tathayam chavataraste bhuvo bhara jihirshaya. Prabhupada explains elsewhere in Kunti Maharani's prayer that the burden on earth doesn't get, the Mother Earth doesn't get overburdened by the increase of population or by the increase of species, but rather, Mother Earth gets overburdened by the many people. Unwanted. By vice. By lies. Okay, yeah, lies. That is in the 10th canto, where Mother Earth goes to Krishna, to Brahma, and where she is asking for help. It is mentioned about untruthful. The 8th chapter, where Mother Kunti is praying, Prabhupada says it's because of the sinful activities of people. So when people become sinful, the earth becomes overburdened. The earth doesn't get overburdened by overweight or by people, the number of increase and the increase of number of population. Tathayam chavataraste bhuvo bhara jihirshaya. Jihirshaya, to remove the burden on Mother Earth, the Lord appears in many incarnations. And what does he do? Swanam cha ananya bhavana anudhyanaya chasakra. He also protects Swanam, his friends. Who are his friends? Cha ananya bhavana, who are exclusively thinking of Krishna. Na anya, cha ananya bhavana anudhyanaya chasakrat. They are constantly meditating. And asakrat means they are completely satisfied in their heart. Very interesting characteristics which are mentioned like this. Who are Krishna's favorite, or whom Krishna saves or protects. Thus, you descend as an incarnation to remove the burden of the world. Tatha ayam chavataraste bhuvo bhara jihirshaya. And to benefit your friends. Swanam is your friends. Especially those who are exclusive devotees. Cha ananya bhavana. They're exclusively. There is nothing else which is going on in their mind. Cha ananya bhavana. And are constantly wrapped in meditation upon you. Anudhyanaya chasakra. These are not some exaggerations, actually. These are realizations of a pure devotee like Arjuna, who is offering this wonderful prayer. If you pay attention, there are many things which we take granted when we read a verse or when we hear, yes, Krishna is descending, he is removing the burden on the earth, and he is taking care of people who are dear to him, who are his friends, especially those who are exclusive devotees, ananya bhavana, anudhyanaya cha sakra, and are constantly wrapped in meditation upon it. There are a lot of words which we have to pay close attention. One word which is used here, are constantly wrapped in meditation upon you. What is the meaning of the word rapt? How many times we have heard this word rapt? Yeah, rapt attention. What exactly rapt is? Focus is good. Yes. Exact meaning if you look in the dictionary. Rapt is something which can transport you to a different place. It can even if you are sitting here in Boston, and as Prabhupada says, a place which is cloudy, which is having all this kind of weather, it's a sign of sinful place. Even though we are here, when we hear with rapt attention, the power of transcendental activities of the Lord can transport us to a different realm. Means you will not physically go to another place and you'll realize, my God, I'm sitting in heaven or somewhere. That doesn't happen, but your consciousness in the heart will change. Anudhyanaya cha sakra. Repeatedly remembering this repeatedly, cha sakra. They're fully satisfied. These are all very powerful things, because one thing is, okay, Arjuna is offering prayers, what we have got to do. Like I was telling the other day, one Brahmastra is coming, which is radiating light, heat, Arjuna's life. But if sometimes we put ourselves in the shoes of Arjuna, and imagine this is the final moment. I'm seeing a danger approaching me so close, I have no hope. What will I do? How many countermeasures we can take? I mean, we can think of using our intelligence, our material measures to protect ourselves, to save ourselves. Are they enough? Had they been enough, there could have been at least one example in this material world who has dodged death. Somehow he has protected himself. The death has not touched him. None. Zero, virtually. They were powerful kings. They were big administrators. They were very, very influential people. But the way the impersonal energy of the Lord in the form of time acts on us, we have no control on the deterioration of our body. That is why these verses, tell us to see something which is beyond the obvious. It is requesting, it is urging us to pay attention to these things which we are, part of this material world, and how we can come out. What is it that we can do? Death is inevitable. Pain is inevitable. Is there a solution? Is there a way that we can take the blessings or attract the attention of Krishna? That's what we should see. So let's read the verse one more time. Beautiful verse, because these verses are prayers, and prayers of any devotee are worth remembering. So the prayer is Tathayam chavataraste bhuvo bhara jihirshaya Swanam chananya bhavanam anudhyanaya cha sakra. Now, I told you to pay attention to the word rapt. Let's pay attention to a few other words which are used in this verse. First one, obviously, is bhara. Bhara is translated by Prabhupada as burden. Bhara is burden. And this word bhara keeps coming in different devotees' prayers. One I was mentioning was Kunti Maharani's prayers, beautiful prayers. She prays in the next chapter, we will see this. Bharavatara nanya na anye bhuvo nabha ibo dado sidantya bhuri bharena jato hi atma bhuvartitaha. Same word, bhara avatara na anye bhuvo nabha ibo dado sidantya bhuri bharena jato hi atma bhuvartitaha. Bhara, so then when the burden became too much, so Kunti Maharani is trying to find out, why does the Lord appear in this material world? What is the need for the Lord to appear in this material world? Is there a need? But she is telling here that Bhara avatara na anye. Seeing that there is no other alternative, the Lord takes descent, avatara, he accepts this form. Bhuvo navo ivo dadho. Bhuvo is Bhumi. Bhumi, Mother Earth, is overburdened. It is overburdened like a boat which is there in the midst of an ocean. Bhuvo navo ivo dadho. Just the boat is overburdened is not a problem. Just the boat is overburdened, but it is in a river, smaller problem. But the boat is overburdened and it's in the midst of a sea. It's in the midst of a turbulence. It's in the midst of a lot of tides. Bhuvo Nabho Ivo Daduhu. So the Mother Earth, which is overburdened like a boat, and it's in the midst of a sea. Sidantya Bhuri Bharena. Sidantya is to completely, remove Bhuri Bharena, this burden. Jato hi Atma Bhuvartita. Arthita is prayer. So Atma Bhuva, who's self-born, that is Brahma, when Brahma prayed to Lord Vishnu, Arthitaha, that this Bhuri Bharana, this Mother Earth is overburdened like a boat in an ocean, then the Lord appeared. This is what Kunti Maharani is praying. Elsewhere in Mukundamala Stotra, it's a very beautiful verse. It is by Kulashekar Alvar, and such a wonderful verse to meditate. Kulashekar Alvar is singing, Jayatu Devo, Devaki Nandanoyam, Jayatu Krishno, Vrishnivam Pradeepaha, Jayatu Megha, Shamala Komalango, Jayatu Prithvi, Bharunaso Mukundaha. Jayatu is there in every line, which means all glories, all glories. All glories to Devo Devaki Nandanoyam, to that Lord who appears as Devaki Nandana, a son of Mother Devaki. Jayatu Devo Devaki Nandanoyam, Jayatu Krishna, Vrishnivam Pradeepaha, to that Krishna who's the Pradeepaha, who's the light, torchlight of Vrishni Vamsa. In the dynasty of Vrishni, Krishna appeared, Vrishni Vamsa Pradeepaha. Jayatu Megha, Shamala Komalanga. The Lord who has got this dark monsoon cloud-like appearance. Beautiful, Komalanga. Very soft, tender body that the Lord has. Jayatu Megha, Shyamala Komalanga. Jayatu Prithvi Bharanaso Mukunda. And to that Lord who appears to reduce the burden of Mother Earth. Jayatu Prithvi Bharanaso Mukunda. The Lord's appearance in Mother Earth is very, very auspicious. It's not a small thing. It's a very powerful thing. So that's why we just paid attention to this word Bhara, which is used in multiple places by different devotees when they are offering their prayers, including Kulashekar Alvar and Kunti Maharani. Moving on, there are some very interesting words which are used by Arjuna in this verse. Swanam cha ananya bhavana anudhyanaya cha asakrit. Asakrit, I said, fully satisfied. The second one is ananya bhavana. Anywhere in Bhagavad Gita which you have seen where the word ananya bhava or ananya word is used? Complete karo, baki lo. Very good. Where does it come? Next. 18? 15? Chapter 9? Fourth is correct answer. That's to be fourth. It's the lucky number. What is the date today? What is 22nd, 2 to 4. Anybody else has any other answer? Arvind Prabhu, sorry, Akash Prabhu. Smile on your face. Where does it appear? Bhagavad Gita classes. Reading book. 18th chapter. Okay. So, yeah, कहीं तो है वो बच्चों का. कौन रहेगा? हाँ? चेक करके पूरा लॉक कर दें अभी फिर से चेंज करना है आंसर. That's right. It is in the 9th chapter. Very interestingly, this verse is so important. We don't know even where it is. So now the next half an hour that we have, or maybe 25 minutes, I wanted to tell you something very powerful about this chapter 9, where this verse comes. Anybody knows what is the title of chapter 9? Really? Hari? No? Where does... okay. Chapter 9 comes after chapter 8, of course. So what is the title of chapter 8, which we are reading now? Maintaining the Supreme. Attaining the Supreme. Okay. Okay, good. Okay. See, this is very interesting because sometimes what we are doing, we don't know. Our activities, our core activities, we don't have enough faith. We don't have enough knowledge about how powerful, how transformative these activities can be. Let us see. So this word, this verse comes in that chapter 9. What is the verse? Ananyas chintayanto mam yejana paripasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshema bhahamya. We'll see that verse. But before we do that, what is the title of today's chapter? Except for Bhagavatam Prabhu, if anybody else wants to answer, can. Today's chapter, today's verse. Is Lord partial? Yeah. What do you think is the answer? Atyayani, you're not a devotee, then gone. Lord is only partial to devotees. You do. Is it true? How many of you think it is true? Ananya? Ananyas chintayanto mam. You don't think? Aryan? You don't think? Achha, before becoming a devotee and after becoming a devotee, there is no difference because Lord is anyway impartial, no? Right? So if that statement is true, that Lord is impartial, we should not become devotee only. Because this verse is telling the Lord is partial to devotees. Meaning, you understand what is the meaning of the word partial? Since two people are there, I have got one cake, cupcake. I'll give it to the person whom I like, not to the person whom I don't like. I'll not divide it into half and give it half to both the people. So how do we understand this? What do you think? Anybody who says God is impartial, raise your hand. So everybody thinks God is partial. God is partial, yeah. Yeah, so Baki, all the people in the material world, they're doomed. God is partial. Very interestingly, this has to be understood. There's a verse which comes in the same 9th chapter. It says, Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dvashya na priyaha ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya maiteshu chapyaha. Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dvashya na priyaha ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya maiteshu chapyaha. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I'm also a friend to him. So I said the 20 minutes, we will spend some time in understanding this particular verse or Nandya's Chintayanto. How many of you remember what is there in 9th chapter? A little bit. Partiality. What do you remember? Everybody knows what's the last verse of chapter. Use the mic. Has revealed the secrets of devotional service like to actually achieve the Lord. Okay. Any other? Very good answer. Very good. When you hit the nail, I don't know whether you realized or not. You answered the area, but it's the right answer. 9th chapter is actually titled as. Anybody knows what is the Sanskrit equivalent of that? Huh? तो आपका टीम का नाम है चैप्टर 9 का पूछ रहा हूँ. Where is your team leader? Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam, Yoga. Where is this word? This is used in 9th chapter, right? Which verse is that? Second line, something garbad happened. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam, Pavitramidam Uttamam, Pratyaksha Avagamam Dharmam, Susukhum Kartum Abhyaya. Very interesting. This chapter is so important. If you remember, the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita is talking about the Karma Yoga. The last 6 chapters is talking about the Jnana Yoga. Bhakti is there in the middle. And this is which is the heart of Bhagavad Gita. And this is the heart of the heart because this is exactly the middle one, 9th chapter. And this is titled as the most confidential knowledge. We read this, the most confidential knowledge, but we don't get to what exactly Krishna is telling. And these words, this partiality, impartiality, everything, what we are doing, why we should do what we are doing, everything is given in this one chapter. Not just one chapter, everywhere Krishna is talking about this. But this is something very, very powerful, very wonderful chapter. The first thing that Krishna says in the 9th chapter, first verse, where he begins the chapter, he says that Idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshyami anasuyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yad jnatva mokshase asukha. One very interesting aspect about this Rajavidya. Rajavidya, if you what it is the topmost, or you can say the most secret, the highest knowledge and the most secretive. This is the highest knowledge, and this is also the most secretive. Rajavidya, Rajaguhyam Yoga. So the important thing to remember here is that this knowledge that Krishna is revealing here is different from the knowledge that he has already spoken earlier. What is the difference about this knowledge? One thing which he is mentioning here is that this is Rajavidya, or this is the king of knowledge, and there is a qualification which is required to understand this knowledge. What is the qualification in the first verse that he mentions? Anasuyave. Anasuyave is non-envious of Krishna. How many of you think you are envious of Krishna? All devotees, they are envious of Krishna. How do you define that you are envious of Krishna? Qualifications. Big qualification to understand this Rajavidya. Otherwise, this Rajavidya will not make sense as non-envious. So those who raised hand, why do you think you are envious of Krishna, or how you are envious of Krishna? Tendency to lord over. Okay, very good. Not able to surrender completely. Okay, because Krishna is telling Sarva Dharman Parityajya, so because you are envious of Krishna, you are not able to surrender. That's the logic. Okay. You want pleasure independent of Krishna. Actually, if you assume that Krishna has not gone to 18th chapter, and we are in the 9th chapter, because he is, this is a dialogue which is happening. So based on what he has spoken, if I have to see what does it mean to be envious of Krishna, the answer actually is there in the 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where the last verse he says, Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhrudam Sarvabhutana Jyantvam Maham. There are 3 things which are mentioned there. Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhrudam Sarvabhutana. We don't accept that, Krishna is the only enjoyer of everything. We also want to be the enjoyer. That manifests in the form of our false ego, which prevents us to have these 3 important characteristics which Prabhupada mentions: tolerance, equanimity, and acceptance. Because we're not able to tolerate, we're not able to have that equanimity of vision, we're not able to accept the supremacy of Krishna. That's why we think we are the enjoyer, we are the controller. Controller कौन है? मैं कौन हूँ? बड़ा आदमी हूँ इधर. ठीक है, जितना लोग मेरे पीछे हैं, that much of happiness I'm getting. So that idea of controller, the idea of being the enjoyer independent of Krishna is coming because we are envious of him. That enviousness is coming because I don't have the humility inside. And he is telling Krishna is telling, but you are non-envious, Arjuna. This knowledge you will be able to understand. Raja, idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshyami anasuyave jnana vijnana sahitam yajnatva moksha se asubha. You will free yourself from moksha se asubha. You will be actually, you'll be relieved from the miseries of material existence. The word that is used here, the difference between this knowledge and any other knowledge, this knowledge is something which you can perceive directly. Pratyaksha avagamam karma. Directly you can perceive the Lord. Directly perceive. This is the beauty of this knowledge. The whole chapter, 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the middle 6 chapters are Bhakti Yoga, right? The 7th chapter is knowledge of the Absolute. There you can intellectually perceive that Lord is present, like Rasoham Apsu Kaunteya, Prabhasmi Sasi Suraya, whatever those things. Intellectually you can say, okay, taste of water is Krishna. By meditative absorption, you can do that in chapter 8, where he's talking about, you should remember me, Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Mam Anusmara Yuddhacha, Maya Arpidam Anubuddhir Mam Eveshyasi Asamshaya. All those things are there in 8th chapter. One is talking about intellectually, getting convinced about Krishna's presence in this material world. The other one is talking about meditative absorption, but this one you can directly perceive the Lord. Very, very interesting. So, Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam, Pavitram. This is the purest. Pavitram idam uttamam. Pratyaksha vagamam. You can directly perceive the Lord. Susukum. Somebody may say, okay, if I can directly perceive the Lord, it must be very difficult. No, susukum kartum abhyayam. So, what is that most confidential knowledge which Krishna has revealed? And how can we perceive the Lord? That is what I would spend some time in 10-15 minutes, whatever we can do. We can go back and refer to this chapter, wonderful chapter. Very, very powerful thing which Krishna has revealed. If we get this thing, perceiving the Lord also will be easier. But before Krishna reveals that, he says, first thing that he says in the 3rd verse, that Ashraddha Dhana Purusha, Dharmasyasya Parantapa, Aprapya Mam Nivartante Mrityu Samsara Varthan. Ashraddha Dhana Purusha, a person who is not faithful, who is faithless, Ashraddha Dhana Purusha, Dharmasya Asya Parantapa, Aprapya Mam Nivartante. He will not get to me. He will not be able to continue in the path of devotional service. He will not attain me. And Mrityu Samsara Vartmani. He will enter into this cycle of birth and death. Who are not faithful on the path of devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of hope, but return to the birth and death in the material world. It's a very powerful thing. I mean, faith is such an important ingredient in this. He puts that caveat, Ashraddha Dhana Purusha. If you're Ashraddha Dhana, this is not going to happen. Now, how does he establish this? There are 2 verses which are very interesting, which are like Upanishadic language, text 4 and 5. Text 4, actually, if you see Bhagavad Gita, text 4 and 5, they are exact contradiction. 4th one is telling, Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat abhyakta murtina matsthani sarva bhutani nachaham deshu avastha. These words are something which we don't pay so much attention. There's some secrets which are lying in them if you closely analyze. The beauty of Bhagavad Gita is when we discuss and we analyze it from different angles and see how Krishna has revealed this truth. This is there right in front of me, but because of my ignorance, because of my enviousness, or because of my whatever, those impurities in the heart, I'm not able to see this. Let's just pay some attention to this. So he's telling Krishna is by my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. So Krishna is pervading by his unmanifested form. Unmanifested form. So the entire universe is pervading by his unmanifested form. Universe. Unmanifested form, he is pervading the universe. But while he's telling that, he's also telling that all beings are in me. Vayadatam idam sarvam jagat abhyakta murtina matstani sarva bhutani. All beings are in me. And what is the second one? Nachaham deshu avasthita. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Right? But in the next verse, exactly in the next verse, what he is telling? He's telling that Nachamatstani bhutani
Pashyame yogam aishwaram bhuta bhinna cha bhutastho mahatma bhuta bhavan.
Very powerful verse. So he's telling in the next verse, everything is not in me now, and yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Everything is not in me. Not in me, and behold my mystic opulence. He's saying all wings are in me first. Then he's telling everything is not in me. How do we understand this? I really didn't want to answer, get an answer. Okay, you want to try, you can go for it. Yeah. Hmm. Non-beings. Okay. So it is that the living beings are in him, but the matter is not in him. Okay, matter doesn't have investments. So not like that. This is a very powerful thing, very interesting thing. Of course, we're running out of time. So that's why I didn't want to ask have the answer for this. But if you just pay attention, this verse, actually Prabhupada explains this in the purport of these two verses. What does it mean? What does it mean that all beings are in me? And at the same time, when Krishna is telling everything is not in me, and mind you, this knowledge is telling that you can directly perceive. If you really, want to make a sentence of yours, Krishna is dash. Krishna is not dash. So you can fill up the blanks. Anything that you want to put, it will be true. Like Krishna is in the creation, Krishna is not in the creation. Is the truth. Krishna is creation, Krishna is not the creation. That also is truth. This is very contradictory, and how apparently this contradiction simultaneously exists in the Lord is something is his mystic opulence. I want to just present a case study to you. I want to show you something. Let's see if you can get this. And if you get this, you will understand what is the mystic opulence, how we can directly perceive the Lord, how this Lord is approachable, how I can have a direct relationship with the Lord and I can experience the Lord. And what it takes to experience the Lord, he reveals that. We will see that also, one or two verses. And with that, we will close. So we'll do that quickly. Anybody knows there is in one of the classes, Madhumani Prabhu talks about something called twin paradox. Anybody remembers what is a twin paradox? Raise your hand. Would be a good subject of discussion for political science students as well. A lot of this thing can happen. What is twin paradox? Prabhu? No? Good. So two people are of the same age, twins, but one goes at a speed which is faster than light. So the factor here is time. And that one thing which we have to understand, time is an impersonal energy. It is not something which is just ticking in the clock. Time is an energy of the Lord, which is ensuring that we are having a continuous experience in the life in the form of past, present, and future. These are integrated very nicely. So it manifests in front of us like something which has happened in the past, something is happening in the present, something is going to happen in the future. And this is happening because of the impersonal energy of the Lord. And this is very beautifully, this is something which we have to know. The word that is used by the scientists is called time dilation. Dilation, or the relativity of time. To understand Krishna directly, I just want to show you something very interesting. I was thinking to myself,
Recently, we had this football match, what is it? World Cup football, right? Where was it? Qatar. So that happened in this planet, which is called, what is it called? Earth or Bhuloka. Okay. Who won the World Cup? That everybody will remember. Krishna's this thing, where it is, which yoga, what, how, why are you asking? So imagine this is Argentina and this is whom they defeated? France. Okay, France. And this is a football. Okay. Now, I want to just give you something very funny thing which you can visualize yourself. Nobody knows where is the Swargaloka? How many layers above us? 5, 7. बोलते जाओ. Third. So third, 2 layer, एक और है, उसके बाद हो जाता है. Actually, the position of Bhuloka is 7, right? In the 14 planetary system, there are 14 dimensions. The existence of people in this material world is there are 14 dimensions. We're in the middle, the 7th one, Bhuloka. 9th one is Swargaloka. So the other day we were talking about the time scale difference, right? What is 1 day of Swargaloka? What is 1 day of Indra? How much it is? Huh? Exactly. If it is 24 hours, 1 day of Indra, how much it is? 12 months, right? Taking the full day. 1 day of Indra is 12 months. Okay. Then let's say we go to a little more up. This is the topmost planet where who lives? Lord Brahma. That is also called as Satyaloka. Okay, can somebody say if there is any example of relativity of time or twin paradox kind of a thing in our Bhagavatam literature, anywhere it is there? Whose father? Revati's father. Okay. Something more common which others also know. That's a good example. Great warrior. And okay, Khatwanga Maharaj. He has just 1 moment remaining and he comes and meditates. Great. Anything else? In Krishna's pastime, then can. Ras Leela also expands. Huh? Brahma Vimona Mila is what exactly? Killing of? That is, how does it come in Bhagavatam in 10 canto? What is that? What is that pastime? Itna Krishna ko quiz karwaya humne. Okay, who was the demon who was killed? Interestingly, when Krishna used to go to the forest, every day he'll kill some demons. And then the children will come back and say, Mommy, today Krishna killed this demon. But this particular demon, when he was killed for 1 year, this was not discussed. Then Parikshit Maharaj was very attentive. 1 year it's not discussed. How did it happen? So Brahma said, sorry, Sukadeva Goswami said, very good, you're attentive. I was just seeing whether you're paying attention or not. I mean, he didn't say like that, but he appreciates you. And then he explains the Brahma Vimohan Lila. But Brahma, from his planet, he was looking down, and this glories of, the fact that Krishna has killed Aghasura reaches him. He thought, really, this blue-colored boy is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? I have my doubts. So he went and stole the cowherd boys. Does anybody know by Brahma's calculation how much it was? 1 day? 1 day of Brahma ho gaya, sab ho jayega usme. Huh? इंटेलिजेंट पीपल सोचो कितना दिन इधर प्लेनेट अर्थ में कितना दिन नहीं था? 1 साल. 1 year they didn't talk about this. After 1 year it happened. How much of 1 year of duration in planet Earth is equal to the duration in Brahma's Loka? It is there in the Bhagavatam. Okay. I'll not spend a lot of time because you have to understand Krishna directly, right? Perceive him. So it is mentioned 1/10 of a second is equal to 1 year. 1/10 of second of Brahma. 1/10. It's not even like second, whatever he was doing yesterday, who the Saika. This is one Mississippi 2 she was doing. So that, it's actually 1 and 2. Because they say if you chant Mississippi, then actually 1 second goes. 1 me, then ho gaya uska. Hisab se 1/10 ho gaya. The people have come. And by the time he realized, he saw that Krishna is expanded, he brought it back. But in the meantime, 1 year has passed. Now, let's take this example. Okay, let's one more time. You know what is the difference in spiritual world? This is the spiritual world. So that's why there is some bar. Spiritual world, what is the time scale? What is one moment in spiritual world? How is it compared to planet Earth? Time is absent. Time is conspicuous by its absence. So one moment there is like infinity. For us, it's just keep this in mind. There is no time there. One moment equals to our infinity. That's the sign of infinity. Okay. Now imagine there is a football match which is going on in Swargaloka. Okay. And Indra is playing with Vayu, Chandra, or Vayu is sitting here. Indra is missing, but there is a football match which is going on there. And you have some technology by which you are able to relay what is going on there. Okay, you are able to see there is a match which is going on. Now, we know how much is the duration of the football match. 90 minutes. For calculation's sake, let's keep it 1 hour. Okay, now 1 hour of football match which is happening in Indraloka, how much it will be in earthly calculation? See here, 24 hours is equal to 12 months of Brahma. So I'm making it 1 hour. So 1 hour will be 12 by 24 or half a month. Half a month is how much? 15 days. So the match, if you have to see it here, it will take 15 minutes. So imagine a match you are watching, which is going to last for 15 days. तो सुबह उठा, नहाया, खाया, पिया, देखा, वो बॉल को मार रहे हैं, वो जा ही नहीं, वो तो पहुंच नहीं रहा है, वो पहुंच रहे तुम खा पी के कुछ करके दौड़ के आए, अब बॉल गया लग रहा है उस तरफ. Then by the time you go run, do come and this thing, because this is going to take 15 days, the match which lasts 1 hour. So it has to happen in a very slow motion, very slow motion. Okay, you can talk, you can sleep, you can get up. Okay, half an hour. I mean, time hai abhi, still half. What is that? Half. And the match when 45 minutes is over, they change sides and all, right? What is that? Half time, and all those things. It's 7.5 days I have. So even if I miss the first half, I can see that, and all these things, calculations you can do, and you can still see. You will not miss a lot. Now imagine if there is a football match which is going on in Brahmaloka. Okay, Brahma is playing football. And just for this thing. Now, same 1 hour of Brahma's time where he's playing football, how much it will be in hour, this thing. So 1/10 of a second of Brahma is 1 year. Now imagine 1 hour is how much? 3,600 seconds, right? So 1 hour is, so you have to multiply 1/10 of a second is 1 year. So 1 second will be 10 years. 1 hour will be 36,000 years. Is it clear? Are you there? इधर देखने से आ जाएंगे, उधर ऐसे 1/10 of a second of Brahma is 1 year. Okay, then 1 second will become 10 years. 1 hour is 36,000 seconds. Sorry, 3,600 seconds. So it will become 36,000 years. So imagine if the technology that you have, you want to relay what is going on in Brahma's, planet, this football match. 36,000 years have to go to see that match. Means you, your son, your grandson, grandson's grandson, pura generation chala jayega, tab bhi football match khatam nahi hoga. It will appear almost still, right? Somebody is hitting the ball, he's hitting, and you are seeing that even the fact that he will bring his leg close to the ball to hit it, will happen so slow that probably you will not even see in your whole life कि वो ball को hit किया कि नहीं किया. And वो किया भी तो किधर जाएगा, कौन से direction में, that is even beyond comprehension. That is the case when it is in Brahmaloka. If you take it further, And let's say there is a football match which is happening between Krishna and Balaram. There is Krishna's team and Balaram's team. There is a football match which is going on. This is interesting because it's a spiritual world where one moment is infinity. That is why if anything happens in the spiritual world, it is almost like still. We see the deities appear here as Archa Vigraha. It is not that they don't have emotions. It is not that they can't reciprocate. They appear very still to us. Our Vedic scriptures say, I was talking about the time just to give you this understanding of relativity. The Vedic scriptures say, if our consciousness is the factor which decides, if your consciousness is very developed, you can actually perceive what's going on in consciousness. You can perceive what is going on in spiritual world. Devotees like Srila Prabhupada were pure devotees. They have direct conversation with the deities because the consciousness is so pure and so advanced. Prabhupada was telling, that negotiation that he was having with Rukmini Dwarikadas. I didn't want to go, and somehow I had to go, but then, this Krishna Balaram temple manifested and all those things. It's actually fact. The consciousness is very advanced. One actually can perceive what's going on in spiritual world. There is an example which is there in our Chaitanya Charitamrita of a great Goswami by name Raghunath Das Goswami. Raghunath Das Goswami was very austere. He was eating once in 3 days. That too, he will take some buttermilk or something, not to full, very little thing. One day he had some dysentery, diarrhea. So he went to a doctor, and the doctor told that you have eaten more. So in his he was seeing in his meditation, he was in spiritual world, and there was something which is offered to him, a nice bowl of sweet rice, which he ate, and it had digestion. So this is all possible. Actually, the yogis, they have, by their mystic perfection, they can go from one place to another, and they can get something which Prabhupada mentions. If somebody has got even elevated consciousness, he can directly perceive what's going on in spiritual world. Now, for our level, how does it matter? For somebody who's got advanced consciousness, he can do it. What about me? We will see this. But before we go there, exactly, we will take another 5 or 10 minutes. Let me ask you one question. Imagine if Indra has to come here for 1 year. He wants to take a break. Wants to enjoy material world में क्या हो रहा है, क्या चल रहा है कात्यायनी के life में, मेरे life में, Krishna के life में. Wants to spend some time for 1 year in the material earthly calculation. How much time will he lose in his own name? 1 day, exactly. So 1 day of Brahma is actually 12 months of hours or 1 year. So he has to apply for a leave for 1 day there. If he takes 1 day leave, 1 year he can spend and he can go back. If Brahma has to come for 1 year, how much of time he will take there? 1/10 of a second. That is nothing actually. 1/10 of a second, he goes and he comes back. Krishna has to descend. That's what it is mentioned. Bhara Avatara. What is that verse? No, not Bhara. Today's verse. Bhubo Bhara Jihishaya. If Krishna has to descend, how much time will go in his calculation? Nothing. Krishna can simultaneously be present there, also can be present here. This concept of omnipresence, that sometimes people think how it can be that Krishna is all pervading, is quite possible. Just by seeing this one thing, that one moment of Krishna is equal to infinity. That means if he has to come, he doesn't have to do anything. He's just there. He's there in Goloka also. That is why it is said we are there in him, we are not there also. If so far you have come, if you're there with me, very interesting thing which we have to remember or understand is, of course, this helps us. I can directly perceive Krishna if I elevate my consciousness. That is why in the next verse it is mentioned, Ananyas chintayanto ma, ye jana paripasate. Ananyas, na anya chinta. If somebody is deeply absorbed, the consciousness goes to such an extent, Ananyas chintayanto mam, ye jana paripasate, tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshema bahamyam. Lord is telling, I will protect him, I will preserve what he has, and I will provide what he lacks. When Arjunacharya, we know that story, when he was writing that, he could not believe that Krishna personally will intervene and he will provide this. And we know the story how, Krishna and Balaram brought those groceries. He had gone out for begging alms and he gave them, and those marks were there in their back. And his wife told, why did you do this? That's such a cruel thing. Then Arjunacharya realized, God, Krishna personally does this. Like Arjunacharya who had doubt, we also have our doubts. Arjunacharya is far elevated. We have big doubts. Krishna will protect. We don't have any doubt. We don't have any faith in that. Ananyas chintayantu mam. If somebody, that's what is the verse is telling. Swanam cha ananya bhavana. Ananya bhavana. No anya bhavana. If fully absorbed, Krishna is going to take care of it. The question that I want to ask, and with that we will end this, is how do we get that? How do we receive that ananya bhavana? What is it that I need to do from my side? This chapter is beautiful revelation, but this one thing we will take, and with that we will close. He's saying how different kinds of worships. Some other time I'll explain that. Very powerful. But this one thing that Krishna says, what is it required to satisfy him, or what should we do? Anybody knows what is that Krishna says in this verse, in this chapter? That will come in the end. That's also very high, but it's a good thing. Even before that, he's telling Patram. Patram is plural or singular? A leaf. Okay. Patram. Pushpam, one flower. Phalam, one fruit. Patram, Pushpam, Phalam, Toyam. Toyam is water. One glass can give. Patram, Pushpam, Phalam, Toyam, Yome, Bhaktya Prayachati. Actually, the Lord is not looking for any of this. What he is looking for is bhakti. He is looking at our heart. Are we giving our heart to him? If we do it, if we give our heart to Krishna, that satisfies him. So the secret, actually, this is all very beautifully given in this chapter. If you see, Krishna doesn't need any of this. Even if you give just one leaf, one flower, a little one fruit, a little water, Krishna is satisfied, because he's not looking at any of these material things, as everything belongs to him. He's looking at the heart, the free will, with bhaktya, with that devotion. If somebody is offering, but this is for you. I've been struggling. I'm stuck here. So Lord, accept this. That humility, that devotion, that heart, that free will, when Krishna sees, Krishna melts. Yome bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhaktya uparatam ashnami prayatatmanam. There is this story of when Draupadi was getting disrobed. Whom did she first go for help? No, not first to all the elderly people who were present, all like Bhishma, Drona, to even Dhritarashtra. She begged, she cried. She asked for help. And then, of course, her husband, second. Third, she tried to protect herself by her own strength, right? With the teeth or with her hands, she was trying to protect. And when she called out, Govinda, Damodara, Madhaveti, or whatever it is, Krishna was there with Rukmini, or rather Rukmini was asking Krishna, how could you travel so fast when Draupadi was calling out to you very feelingly? How did you do this? So Krishna answers, actually, more than the travel of, the speed of Garuda, or more than the travel of the speed of our own mind, there is something else which attracts Krishna very much. Draupadi shedded 2 tears. Those tears are very powerful. When somebody genuinely, honestly, feelingly calls out to the Lord, God appears. He is there directly in our heart as Paramatma. He doesn't need to even travel. But that feelingly calling out helps us understand the position of the Lord, and helps us understand that we are his parts. Got nothing to do with this material world. He comes for shelter and protection. There are a lot of wonderful verses in this, but this chapter, where this other two verses also, how Krishna is impartial, is very nicely explained, and we can directly perceive this. We're just giving one example of this thing so that we can perceive this. And when we perceive him, when we call out feelingly, when we surrender our heart heartfully, when we do it, Krishna appears. Krishna does appear. So I'll stop here and see if you have any questions or comments. Mandana, the verse is so wonderful. No wonder Krishna has given it twice in Bhagavad Gita, right? In the 9th chapter and in the 18th chapter. We need to see this. We need to read this very nicely, and it will make a lot of sense. So what? Any question? No question. Thank you for attending. We will see next another wonderful prayer of Arjuna. Prayers of Arjuna are also very, very beautiful. And see how we can apply these things in our life. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.